This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Good evening to you. At 5, I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino.
And first here at 5, parents in one metro area school district feel their children are at risk every time they make their way to school. And now they're calling for safety enhancements before someone is hurt.
And a mother says she has reached out to every possible department to make the changes necessary, but hasn't had any luck.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade is working for you in Greenwood tonight to see what can be done.
People who live nearby and live in the Pebble Run subdivision need to cross Fairview Road in order to get to Pleasant Grove Elementary or Center Grove Middle School. Parents say their kids can't make this cross safely, and they're calling on a crosswalk to be added.
If you knew there was a crosswalk, you'd feel a little better about that and not necessarily concerned that they're going to get hit crossing the road.
Matt Onspach tries to walk his kids to school as often as he can. He has a 2nd and 5th grader at Pleasant Grove Elementary and a 7th grader at Center Grove Middle School. He worries when his middle schooler walks home from class without a stoplight or anything to slow traffic down for him to cross Fairview Road. He and his wife have tried to reach out to differing city and county agencies to request one to be added, but have had no luck.
Both Fairview here and then Morgantown are 2 major roads. The speed limit's 40. So I know it's a school zone, but if they're walking home after extracurriculars, then it might be later in the day. People aren't paying attention. So I just think it'd be important to have the the crosswalks there for safety's sake.
Coming up at 6, we reach out to the Center Grove Community School Corporation to see if they'll take action tonight. Working for you in Greenwood, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And if you feel you aren't getting anywhere on your own with an issue, always feel free to reach out to RTV6. You can email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Now moving to our Storm Team 6 forecast, summer may be nearing an end, but right now it feels like the middle of July temperatures reaching the 90s today. A drastic difference from what we felt over the weekend.
We talked about it. It's one thing to predict it. It's another thing to feel it. For the 19th time, we've hit 90 or above. We average 16 days each summer, and it's not just 90 in spots. It's well over the 90-degree mark. There's the magic number for Indianapolis. We don't get any historical credit for this. The record high 96, and that was set back just in 2013. There's the wind responsible for bringing in the humidity along with these warmer temperatures, so we can talk about heat index values now. You don't do that a whole lot in September. The current temperature is 90. We're down 2 degrees from the afternoon high, 89 in Lafayette. You factor in the humidity. These are the heat index values, what it feels like. 95 in Peru, 93 in Indianapolis. Now that we're used to this, we'll do it over again. The next couple of days, we'll see very little change until later in the week. Temperatures this evening slowly fall to 79 at 10 o'clock. It stays warm and dry all night.
New charges tonight for a trucker accused of triggering a deadly collision that killed an Indianapolis mother and her twin babies. Marion County prosecutors added 7 more counts of reckless driving against Bruce Pollard. The semi-truck driver was initially charged in July with 3 counts of reckless homicide, as well as reckless operation of a vehicle in a highway work zone. Police say Pollard crashed into stopped traffic on I-465 near the Keystone exit, killing Alana Coons and her 18-month-old daughters. Last month, prosecutors filed more court documents detailing the injuries of 7 other people involved in the crash. Ahead tonight at 6, Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny digs deeper into the new development in this case and explains what it means for Bruce Pollard.
The trial date is set for the Gas City woman charged with murdering her stepdaughter. Right now, a trial date for Amanda Carmack is scheduled for February 3rd. Carmack is accused of strangling 10-year-old Skylee Carmack. The girl's body was found last week in a shed behind the family's home in Gas City, days after she was reported missing. During a hearing on Monday, Amanda Carmack told the judge she wants to represent herself. The judge is allowing it for now, but also appointed standby counsel for the suspect. And an investigation is underway after school officials found an unloaded gun inside of a student's locker at Westlake Middle School in Washington Township today. A letter sent to parents said a teacher overheard a conversation that warranted an alert to the administration, which prompted school officials to question a student. That student then admitted to having a handgun inside their locker, and it was handed over to school leaders without incident. Police are now investigating the case. It is not clear what kind of punishment that student faces.
Hiring Hoosiers is an RTV6 initiative initiative to connect you to a job or the education needed to get the job or career you want. Well, Purdue University is receiving a $40 million Lilly Endowment grant toward construction of a new complex for STEM students. The grant announced today will boost Purdue's planned $140 million engineering and polytechnic gateway complex on the West Lafayette campus. The project is designed to meet the growing demand for science, technology, engineering, and math graduates ready to contribute to what is being called the fourth industrial revolution, called Industry 4.0. And Purdue says this new complex and the education it will provide will quickly prepare students, thousands of them, for in-demand STEM jobs. Construction on the Gateway Complex is expected to begin in the spring of 2020 and be completed in the fall of 2022. Hiring Hoosiers tells stories of opportunity for all ages. And for a look at the rest of our content, head to the RTV6 app or hiringhoosiers.com.
Official plans released to revamp Monument Circle and the Soldiers and Sailor Monument in downtown Indianapolis today. Downtown Indy Inc. said thanks to the $7.6 million Shining a Light on Indianapolis initiative, Monument Circle will get enhanced lighting, video projection capabilities, a state-of-the-art sound system, and performance staging. The city of Indianapolis says there will be seasonally themed experiences, light shows, and a nightly signature salute synchronized with an Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra original score. All of this will debut on November 9th of this year.
If you tuned into the radio between 10 and noon today, you may have heard something different. Instead of music, conversations about mental health and suicide.
Today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and our Alyssa Donovan shows us how our partners over at Radio 1 stop the music in the hopes of making an impact.
I've been here at the Radio 1 studios all day with the Radio Now 100.9 crew, where they've been having very important conversations with local and national resources in the community. The Joe and the Radio 1 morning show is usually lighthearted. I know. But for 2 hours, they, along with several other Radio 1 stations, took a break from the tunes and laughter to discuss serious topics, mental health and suicide.
We have so many great resources, which I don't think anybody here on the show or on Radio Now 100.9 knew about here right in Indy that can help you out.
Guests from local and national organizations shared personal stories.
Being full-blooded Latina, even my culture doesn't even look at mental illness as a valid illness.
And discussed training happening at health facilities to better recognize signs of suicidal thoughts.
Making folks less afraid to have that conversation.
Sharing alarming statistics.
15 million people report to somebody, the doctors or whoever, that they're dealing with depression annually, and that's just in the nation.
But here in Indiana, the issue is unfortunately more prominent.
In 2018, we had 1,092 deaths.
That is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And of those, we're talking about 70 of those are youth.
Indiana is the number one state in all of America of youth contemplating suicide.
And the hope is that the time spent here in studio today, stopping the music to have these conversations, will encourage those in need to seek help and lead to eliminating the stigma surrounding mental health and suicide. Working for you, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you for sharing that with us. And right now, if you need help or know someone who does, we show you the resources available to you. Just go to our website, theindychannel.com. There we have links to several websites that have mental health resources. Plus, we have the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number. By the way, that is 800-273-8255. Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, 1/3 of people under 30 have student debt. The impact it's having and how you can get yourself back on track. We speak to one woman who's dealing with it right now. That's coming up on the Now Indy.
But first here at 5, a major vaping company is under fire from federal health authorities. We'll show you why as the debate on vaping intensifies, especially after a Hoosier died from a vaping-related illness.
And you can feel it. The temperatures are up. Our rain chances will increase as well as we go later in the week. What that means for the weekend coming up.
And for World Suicide Prevention Day, we are working to shine a light on mental health and suicide prevention. CDC numbers show roughly 3 million people a year make plans of attempting suicide but do not follow through. If you know someone who may be considering hurting themselves, we have a full list of resources for you right now, theindychannel.com. This is the news on RTV6.
Keller and Keller.
Welcome back to RTV6 News at 5. Our nation's veterans have dealt with a lot, so it's no wonder they may need extra help with mental health. For World Suicide Prevention Day, we want to pass along this resource for veterans in crisis. It's the National Institute of Mental Health's Veterans Crisis Line. If you've served and need support, or you love someone who needs help, just call this number, 1-800-273-8255, and press 1. You can also text to 838-255 to connect with a VA responder. We've got all of these resources on our website for you, theindychannel.com.
Indiana has at least one vaping-related death.
And yesterday, we shared the story of a 20-year-old Crawfordsville man, Kyle Lano, who says he believes his vaping led to his lungs collapsing. Now, federal health authorities are blasting vaping company Juul for allegedly illegally pitching its electronic cigarettes as a safer alternative to smoking. ABC's Maggie Ruley with what this could mean for the future of vaping.
18-year-old Sima Herman says she feels lucky to be alive.
It was terrifying. It's just getting weaker and weaker by the minute.
After 2 years of chronic habitual vaping, first with e-cigarettes and then a THC vaping device, Sima says one day she had difficulty breathing. After being rushed to the hospital, she was put into a medically induced coma and attached to a ventilator for several days. She's now recovering.
I'm just trying to share my story and save people's lives.
Officials across the country say they're battling a vaping epidemic.
This is a new outbreak which is occurring across the nation. We want parents to take close attention to what their children are doing when it comes to vaping.
And young people appear to be the most in danger.
The CDC is working with the states to further refine what may be behind this, what's actually causing it. But the message I think for everyone to take home is that currently now something has changed about vaping.
The FDA, under pressure from Congress, has issued a warning letter to e-cigarette industry leader Juul, accusing them of illegally marketing their product as a safer alternative to cigarettes, including a company representative making those claims to students at a school, despite failing to provide scientific data to back it up.
There's a lot we don't know about the both short-term and long-term consequences of vaping.
Health officials haven't identified any particular product or device as the source of the illnesses. The majority of patients have reported vaping marijuana products or e-cigarette devices purchased on the street. The CDC is reporting 6 deaths and is investigating more than 450 vaping-related illnesses. They're now urging people to stop vaping or using e-cigarette products. Maggie Ruley, ABC News, New York.
New developments, Iran is now taking credit for President Trump's firing of National Security Advisor John Bolton. An advisor to Iran's president says Bolton's dismissal is the result of Iran's resistance to President Trump's maximum pressure campaign. The advisor said in a tweet that the move is a sign of the pressure campaign's failure and proof that Iran is able to manage U.S. policies on Iran. Now, President Trump tweeted that he and Bolton disagreed on several issues, which he says led to Bolton's resignation. And new at 5, a small plane crashes into the side of a building at a regional airport south of Phoenix, Arizona. You can see it hanging from the side of the building. The Federal Aviation Administration says the plane crashed shortly after taking off. Medics took 2 people on board the plane to a hospital with injuries. There are no reported injuries to anyone inside of the building. Federal investigators are still trying to figure out what caused this crash. Muncie police have made an arrest after finding an active pipe bomb inside a home. Today, police charged 38-year-old Michael Johnson with possession of the device as well as drug possession. Muncie officers say they found the pipe bomb in a home near East 15th and South Elm Streets. While investigating a shooting call, court documents show police found a number of other weapons as well as a crystal substance that turned out to be meth. 2
grocery stores that operate throughout Indiana are now asking you to not openly carry guns in their stores. Meijer and Aldi have both joined the growing list of stores, including Kroger and Walmart, to change their gun policies. They are asking gun owners not to openly carry inside of the stores. On top of this, Meijer recently raised the minimum age to buy ammunition in its stores from 18 to 21.
A developing story, the Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles says the state's attorney general has stalled a measure that would allow people to change their gender on driver's licenses and IDs. BMV spokesperson Susan Geyer told the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette that Attorney General Curtis Hill decided not to sign off on the rule because he says the public was not sufficiently informed of the plan. The Bureau proposed the rule that would require a birth certificate or a special State Department of Health form a change gender on licenses and IDs. It was supposed to go into into effect in October. Now the Bureau of Motor Vehicles plans to allow gender change on a birth certificate, but the physician's statement is in jeopardy because of Hill's decision.
In less than an hour, you will have a chance to voice your opinion about a proposal to raise your IPL bill. The company is asking for a series of rate hikes spread out over 7 years. Bills would go up between 0.8 and 1.3% between next year and 2026. A public meeting will be held this evening at 6 o'clock at the Schweitzer Student Center on the UIndy campus.
On Thursday, you can help the dogs and cats that call Indy Humane home. You can participate in the agency's 2019 Day of Giving by attending its inaugural Furry Friends Fall Frenzy. It's an open house fundraising event at the Indy Humane Shelter. You will be able to tour the facility, learn about animal welfare programs, and meet adoptable animals. Indy Humane's Furry Friends Fall Frenzy is happening Thursday from 5 to 8 at Indy Humane's main campus. That's at 7929 North Michigan Road.
If you stepped outside today, it felt like a rewind back to the middle of July. I mean, It was hot out there today.
You might say the dog days of summer, right? Yeah, are you cool with these 90s in September?
I'm picking up on what you're doing there.
So we've got a couple more. We've had 19 so far this summer. It looks like the 20th and maybe 21st aren't too far away. Tomorrow, oh so close. It'll really come down to cloud cover, and if we see any of these isolated thunderstorms that pop up in the afternoon. Thursday, no change. We start to see a change on Friday. That will come with an increasing chance for thunderstorms, more clouds, lower temperatures. Humidity is still quite high. These thunderstorms mark the transition to cooler weekend temperatures. Again, the chance in any one spot the next 2 days very low, so don't change your plans. Much more likely we'll see these thunderstorms Friday afternoon. Let's combine temperature and the humidity and come up with our heat index. It feels like 93 in Indy, 95 in Peru, 95 in Terre Haute. Temperatures at or above 90 degrees in most spots. It's 91 in Muncie. Say hello to Tyler. You know how this works. You send me your dog's picture and I'll take your dog for a walk during the forecast. Tyler, it seems like all the little dogs jump up on something, don't they?
He looks like he's more interested in just taking it easy and
I
chilling.
think what's happening is the neighbor's grilling, and you can see he's finding that out with his nose. He knows what's
My kind of dog.
Right, yeah.
Temperature by 11 is still at 78 tonight. Overnight temperatures as warm as 70 to 71. We don't cool off overnight. That means we get a quick jump on temperatures for tomorrow. Already by noon, you're looking at 84 degrees with an isolated thunderstorm in the afternoon. From north to south, compare these temperatures to the average for this time of year of 80, and you can see how far above average will be. That wind out of the southwest, it won't be too strong, about 10 miles per hour. Temperatures, if they don't hit 90, they're oh so close. Just to show you what I'm talking about, I'll stop this at 4 o'clock. 1, 2, 3 little areas of thunderstorms. Where exactly they would pop up, and very difficult to tell that. I think there's be very isolated. Thursday, rain chances low. Temperature is high at 90. Friday, the thunderstorms with a purpose. The purpose to lower the humidity on the other side of a cold front. Perfect timing as well for the weekend. 81 Saturday, lower humidity, low temperatures back into the low 60s. Then on Sunday, 85 degrees with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. So next week appears to stay above average as well.
All right, enjoy the return of summer that we've got going on.
It is still here.
Yeah, it is. Hey, it's Monopoly with a twist. How this version of the game is helping to empower women. Next on the News at 5.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
Hello to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV Live, and we continue bringing you gavel-to-gavel coverage of a very sad murder trial happening right now in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio area. Defendant Skylar Richardson was a high school senior when she hid her pregnancy from her family and her friends. She says the baby was stillborn, and she buried the infant in her parents' backyard. Last week, the state played her first and very emotional interview with police. And yesterday, the state recalled the detective who initially interviewed her and showed the jury Richardson's second interview, in which her story changed. Prosecutors say that she confessed, but was that confession coerced by detectives? Well, the state rested its case in chief yesterday, and today the defense started calling witnesses to the stand, a very powerful start to their case in chief. One of those witnesses is a medical doctor who told the jury that in his medical opinion, the baby was in fact stillborn. Now, the big question, will Skylar Richardson take the stand in her own defense? Gavel-to-gavel live coverage of this trial and all your other legal news continues right here on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Julie. And you can stream Court TV Live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at CourtTV.com.
A makeover for a beloved board game celebrates the power of women.
Ms. Monopoly is based on the classic game Monopoly, but in this version, female players make more money than their male challengers.
For example, women collect $240 Monopoly dollars every time they pass go. Men just get the usual 200.
In Ms. Monopoly, players don't buy property, but rather invest in inventions that were created by women.
Ms. Monopoly is available for pre-order beginning today. Game night, Mark?
There you go. I'm in for less money, right? All new at 6 p.m. Men have a much higher rate of committing suicide, and this is one group that's trying to put a stop to it. How clippers and conversation could help save a life.
But first on the Now, India proposed high-rise apartment complex that was in serious jeopardy is back on the table. We'll show you where it's planned for and what it could mean for one downtown community. You're watching RTV6.